Once upon a time, in a small seaside village, there lived a fisherman named Jack. Jack was a good man, kind-hearted, hard-working, and loved by all who knew him. Though he was not rich, he was content with his simple life. His boat was small, and his nets were not always full. But Jack had what mattered most: a family he adored. Jack's wife had passed away when their 3 daughters were very young, leaving Jack to raise them alone. His eldest daughter, Anna, was already a young lady with dreams of wealth and luxury. She would often talk about the grand palaces she imagined and the jewels she longed for. Gwen, the second daughter, was a bit like Anna, but her desires were always a little more practical. She wanted diamonds, bright and sparkling, and nothing else would do. Then there was Lily, the youngest. Lily was different from her sisters. She was soft-spoken, gentle, and had a deep love for nature. She spent her days playing by the shore, watching the waves roll in, and talking to the birds and flowers. While Anna and Gwen often thought of riches, Lily thought only of how she could help the world around her. One bright morning, as the sun cast golden beams across the sea, Jack prepared to head out on his boat to catch fish. Before he left, he asked his daughters what they would like him to bring back. "Father," Anna said with a twinkle in her eye, "bring me a beautiful pearl necklace from the ocean." Gwen added, "Father, bring me a diamond that sparkles like the stars." But when Jack turned to Lily, she smiled at him with soft, kind eyes. "Father," she said, "bring me something no one else has, something rare and special. Find a flower from the magical lake that lies beyond the forest." Jack was puzzled. He had heard rumors of such a lake, but he had never seen it himself. It was said to be guarded by a fierce dragon, and the path to it was dangerous. But Jack loved Lily more than anything in the world, and he knew he would do anything to make her happy. So he promised to bring back the flower for her. Jack set sail that morning, and his heart was full of both joy and worry. The sea was calm, and the sun shone brightly as he cast his nets into the water. Yet his thoughts kept drifting back to Lily's request. He had never heard of anyone who had dared to seek the magical lake, and he had no idea what dangers might lie ahead. After catching enough fish to feed his family, Jack sailed farther out, beyond the safety of the familiar shores. He thought of Lily and the promise he had made. As he sailed, the wind carried whispers of the mystical lake. Some said it was a place where no one dared to go, but Jack was willing to risk it for his daughter. Days passed, and Jack sailed on. The weather became colder, and the sea grew rougher, but Jack did not turn back. He remembered Lily's kind smile and her love for nature. He would not disappoint her. After many days of sailing and traveling, Jack finally reached the edge of a thick, dark forest. The trees were tall and twisted, and the air smelled of damp earth and pine. The journey into the forest was long and treacherous, but Jack pressed on. He was determined to keep his promise to Lily. Eventually, Jack reached a clearing. Before him lay the magical lake. The water was a deep blue, its surface so clear that he could see the sparkling fish swimming beneath. The lake was surrounded by a thick mist, and Jack could feel a strange energy in the air. He had heard that the lake was magical, but he had never truly believed it until now. As he stepped closer to the water's edge, he suddenly heard a loud roar. From the mist emerged a creature of unimaginable size, a dragon. Its scales were red like fire, and its eyes glowed with an eerie light. The dragon's wings were massive, and as it flapped them, the wind howled. "Who dares to come to my lake?" the dragon growled. Jack froze in fear. "I am Jack, a humble fisherman," he stammered. "I have come to find a flower for my daughter." The dragon's fiery gaze pierced him. "You may take the flower, but you must promise me something in return," the dragon said, his voice deep and menacing. Jack hesitated. He was terrified, but he knew he had to agree. "What do you want in return?" The dragon thought for a moment, his fiery eyes burning. "I want the first thing that greets you when you return home. If you promise this, I will give you the flower." Jack's heart sank. He did not know what the dragon meant, but his thoughts were with Lily, and he agreed to the bargain without thinking of the consequences. "I promise," he said, trembling. The dragon gave a great roar and vanished into the mist, leaving behind a single glowing flower. Jack took it, carefully placing it in his bag, and began his journey home. Jack sailed back to the village with the flower in hand. The sea was calmer now, and the sun began to set as he approached the shores. He thought about his promise to the dragon and wondered what might be waiting for him at home. When he finally docked his boat and stepped ashore, he saw Lily running toward him, her face full of joy. She had been waiting for him, as she always did. Jack's heart sank as he remembered his promise to the dragon. He had said the first thing that greeted him, and that would be Lily. Lily's face lit up when she saw the flower in his hand. "Father!" she called out, her voice full of excitement. "You found it. You found the magical flower." But Jack's heart was heavy. He remembered the dragon's words. He quickly grabbed Lily's hands and explained the deal he had made with the dragon. "I'm sorry, my dear," he said. "I promised the dragon the first thing that greeted me when I returned home. It was you." Lily's smile faded for a moment, but then she took a deep breath and squeezed her father's hand. "Don't worry, Father. I will go to the dragon. I will make things right." The next morning, Lily set off toward the magical lake. She was brave and strong, but she knew the journey would not be easy. She walked through the forest, her thoughts filled with her father's words and the dragon's promise. When she finally reached the lake, the dragon was waiting for her. He towered over her, his fiery eyes watching her every move. "You have come to fulfill the bargain," the dragon said, his voice echoing across the lake. Lily nodded, her heart pounding. "I have come to help you," she said softly. "I know you are not just a dragon. You were once a prince, and I will find a way to break your curse." The dragon's eyes widened in surprise. "How do you know this?" he asked. Lily smiled gently. "I have heard the stories. I know what happened to you, and I will help you if you promise to never harm anyone again." The dragon paused, and then, with a low growl, he agreed. "I promise." Lily thanked the dragon and set off to find the wise owl, who was known to hold the secrets of breaking curses. Lily's journey took her deep into the forest, where the trees grew taller and the air grew thick with mist. The path was winding and unclear, but Lily did not stop. She knew that she had to find the wise owl if she was to break the dragon's curse. She walked for hours, the sun dipping lower in the sky as she moved deeper into the forest. The birds seemed to follow her, their songs comforting her as she pressed on. Her heart was steady, and her determination grew with every step. At last, after what seemed like a long and tiring journey, Lily arrived at a large, ancient tree. Its trunk was wide and thick, covered in moss, and its branches stretched high into the sky. She had heard the stories of the wise owl who lived here, deep within the forest, and she knew this was the place. Lily called out, her voice soft and respectful. "Wise owl, I have come to seek your help. I need to break a curse." From the darkness of the tree's hollow, a pair of glowing eyes appeared. The owl, large and wise-looking, emerged from the shadows. His feathers were silver, and his gaze seemed to see right into Lily's heart. "I am the wise owl," the creature said, his voice calm and wise. "I know why you have come, young one. What is it that you seek?" Lily stood tall and spoke from the heart. "There is a dragon who guards a magical lake. He is cursed, and I must help him. Do you know how I can break the curse?" The owl blinked slowly, then nodded. "The curse can only be broken if you journey through the forest and cross the magical river. But be warned, the river tests the hearts of those who pass through it. Only those who are pure in heart may cross safely." Lily listened carefully, taking in every word. "How do I cross the river safely?" The owl's eyes gleamed with ancient wisdom. You must enter the river with a heart full of kindness, love, and selflessness. The water will test you, but if your heart is true, you will pass. Lily nodded. I will do it. Thank you, wise owl. The owl gave a soft hoot and flapped his wings, disappearing back into the tree's hollow. Lily stood there for a moment, thinking about what she had learned. She felt a sense of peace settle within her. She knew she had to press on, no matter what lay ahead. The path through the forest grew steeper as Lily continued her journey. The trees were thicker now, their trunks twisted and gnarled, and the air smelled of damp earth. After what seemed like days of walking, Lily finally heard the sound of rushing water. The air grew cooler, and the ground became wet underfoot. She had reached the magical river. The river was wide, and its water sparkled in the sunlight, though the water seemed to glow with an eerie, otherworldly light. As Lily approached, she felt a strange, tingling sensation in the air. The water seemed to call to her, as though it was alive, waiting for her to step into it. Lily knelt down and dipped her fingers into the water. It was warm and smooth, and the water seemed to hum with power. She knew that this was the river the wise owl had spoken of. The river would test her, but she was not afraid. She took a deep breath and stepped into the river. The moment her feet touched the water, a strange force surrounded her. The current was gentle, but the water seemed to pull at her in ways she could not explain. The river whispered in a language she could not understand, its voice soft and flowing. Lily took another step, and the water rose around her ankles. The voice of the river grew louder, speaking to her in her mind. Are you sure your heart is pure? Are you truly ready to face the trials ahead? Lily's heart beat fast, but she stood firm. Yes, she whispered. I am pure of heart. I have come to help the dragon. I want to break his curse and set him free. The river seemed to pause for a moment. Then the current began to pick up. Lily felt a pull, a test of her will. She had to stay strong. She thought of her family, her father, Anna, and Gwen, and how much they meant to her. She thought of the dragon and how much he had suffered. Her heart was full of love, and she focused on that love as she continued to walk. The water swirled around her, pushing and pulling, but Lily did not falter. She kept her heart pure, thinking only of kindness and compassion. Slowly, the river began to calm. The current softened, and the water flowed more gently around her. She had passed the test. Finally, Lily reached the other side of the river. She stepped out onto solid ground, feeling the earth beneath her feet. She had made it through the magical river. Now, from this point, the story will be continued in the next part.